Hey, I got plenty of cameras, maybe too many, but I shoot them on the regular basis. I shoot quite a bit with my Graflex, my Pinhole, my Kievs and others. I shoot mostly large format. A medium format, hardly not at all with 35mm. I think I made a video about that. If I find that, I put the link to the description page so you can maybe understand the rationale, even though you wouldn't agree with me, but see the rationale behind me shooting with medium and large format. So I'm a bit all over the place with what comes to cameras. And by the way, I just don't buy this argument that you should learn one lens and one camera before you move forward. It's like saying to the car mechanic that you need to learn one wrench before you use another wrench. I rather go and experiment with different tools and then pick and choose the ones that I like and that fit into my style. But even though I'm like this with my cameras, I'm much more traditional and focused with my films. I pretty much use Ilford FP4, Ilford HP5 Plus, and then in large format, in addition to these Ilford products, I used Fomapan quite a bit. It's reasonably priced and I like these a lot, 200 and 100. And then I stick to two different developers. I've used all kind of developers and I have sort of, I don't know, just by accident or whatever, concluded to me Rodinal and Xtol or Adox XT3 or any of these Xtol copies. These are enough. And with this I can create so much variation that I don't need more than this in most of the cases. Like if I use Xtol and say Ilford HP5 Plus. With these I can create smooth films by pulling this up to 2 stops and then really grainy and aggressive when I push it up to 4 stops. So even with just these two, I can get like 7-8 different combinations. And then if I add here Rodinal and think about stand development, and even with Rodinal I can push a little bit and it gets really grainy and beautiful. I get like, 15, 20 different combinations just by 2 developers and 1 film. And then if I add these other films, I got plenty. It seems to be enough for me. Now it doesn't mean that every now and then I wouldn't go and try something else. Lately I've been shooting with Pancro 400 and developing it with Rodinal. I like that a lot. And then, since this analog photography is about experimentation and a lot about learning and trying and having fun, if I find something interesting I wanna try. And a few weeks ago I stumbled upon an interesting film stock from a company called NoColorStudio and their film Experimental No5, which they offer both in 4x5 sheet film and 120 roll film. These guys, what they say on their webpage about themselves is as follows. NoColorStudio is an experimental initiative seeking to expand the possibilities of analog photography. So hey, I bought these. These are ISO 5 films, so really slow films. Similar ISO number that you would get shooting directly on a photo paper. And then this is orthochromatic film, meaning that it doesn't store red light. Also extremely contrasty. So a lot of complexity already there. So let me show you a few pictures that I took with this. Hey, as you can see, I'm still going through my dark phase in life. Not in life, but in photography. I just love dark tones, and this is especially nice with dark tones. Now, when you go and test or try an experimental film like this, it would be really good to have a lot of technical data available. And then you wouldn't waste your film in all kind of trials and errors. Unfortunately, in this case, there was very little available. First of all, there was no developer data suitable for me. I developed in Xtol and Rodinal, and I don't think there was information about those development times. Now, lucky enough, this being orthochromatic film, you can develop this in an open tank, which I did. I had open tank under the red light in my darkroom, so I can see it developing. And as it develops in the tank, I would pull it out every now and then and look against the red light to see when is it ready. And for my liking, it seemed that Rodinal 150 mix, about 15 minutes is what it needs. Now I know that. Then I noticed that all my indoor pictures are extremely underexposed. So first I thought it gotta be the reciprocity failure. This being ISO 5 film, it meant that indoors the exposure times became really long. And since there was no information available, I called or sent a message to Arnas Spaka, who is the head of this enterprise, and asked him about the reciprocity error and told him about my experiments. He said, no, it's not that. There's hardly any of that in this film, but it is sensitive only to blue light. So unlike some other orthochromatic films, it is only tiny bit sensitive to green light or anything above that. It's only blue light. And then he finally, as I suggested, or maybe he had that already in his plans, put the graph, the sensitivity graph online, and then that totally explained it to me. This film is practically sensitive only to blue light. And that added a bit complexity. If I measure the light with a light meter, and then I get certain results, then it's not the whole truth, because my light meter also meters light to which this film is not sensitive, like yellow light and red light and all those. So then what I did was that I downloaded an app called, hold on a second, what's it called? It's called LSP.EVO. I put the links to the description page so you can find all of this. And what that app does is that it gives me the spectrum. I can see what color of light is available. And now, sort of combining this information and my light meter, I can start to estimate how much light do I need to expose this film correctly. So then finally I started to get closer to what I wanted, and let's take a look at one picture that I like a lot. Now this is a good example of the sensitivity of this film. There's a white coffee cup, then there is a bright red bell pepper and bright yellow apple. And both the bell pepper and the apple, they are almost black, because there's no sensitivity to yellow or red. And this picture also shows you why these kind of experimental left field films are so interesting, because I couldn't reach that kind of a picture with my regular film stock that I use and the developer. I need something special for that. Is that something I want to use all the time? Probably not. But now I know how to get it if I want to get those kind of pictures. So, what is my conclusion? What do I like about this NoColorStudio Experimental No5 film? Yeah, it's different. It was a lot of work. I wish all that information was available when I started. Now it is, so if you want to go and experiment it, there's more information. Now that's good. You gotta take into account these special characteristics of these films. It's not something that will go to the regular circulation of my films, but I'm pretty sure that when I run out of these seed films and these 120 films, I may buy another box and a few other rolls and put them in my fridge and keep them there for special occasions, because as I said, that look and feel is pretty unique. And within my way of conducting photography and taking pictures, this kind of totally different films serve a purpose, because they don't compete with my regular films and they don't sort of try to do the same but slightly differently. They go far enough from this mainstream, and I like that a lot. And last but not least, I mean, I really value small boutique companies like this NoColorStudio to go to places and source these exotic films, package and spool them for us mere mortals so that we can enjoy them. I mean, that's a great service, and I'm happy to pay for you for these kind of possibilities. Yeah. Hey, so that was a lot of fun. Thanks for watching. Next time, something else. See you around.